Hey, guys, what is going on? You are checking out an all new, the RCWR Show, coming at you for Monday night of October 14th, 2019. Lee Sanders here. Pleased to meet you. Nice to know me. Oh my God. Look, man, anybody that's been checking out the show for at least the past couple of months, I've been very proactive towards the WWE. I really have. I meet them halfway. When they're doing stuff right, I compliment the hell out of them. I think even the most hardcore WWE fan that has maybe had a bone to pick with me because it kind of maybe seemed to them I was being a bit too critical on the WWE product, I think they would at least admit, if they've been checking me out for the past couple of months, yeah, Lee, you have been a lot more pro towards WWE, and I hope you hardcore fans have been appreciating it. But come on, man, we all got to be in agreement. What we got from SmackDown, and that was the second episode on Fox, and then it following it up with frickin' tonight, second night of the draft, part 2 of the draft, basically. It was a snooze fest. I don't like saying that, but it's the God's to honest truth. I mean, seriously, what was even remotely wow about tonight's episode? Are we really gonna go with the draft picks? Because, I mean, look, let's be honest, WWE messed that up big time when it came to the draft, because the pool that they had put out in a press release last week, they pretty much had revealed who all was gonna be kind of going where and the order in which it's gonna be happening. So if you remember that press release from last week, and you had it with you, using it as a cheat sheet as you were watching what was going on SmackDown, it was pretty much, yep. It was like getting the answers to a test, a final exam or whatever. It was like the teacher giving you the damn test answers, and all you had to do was just, okay, I'll just have this handy when I get ready to take the damn test, right? I mean, that's literally how it was. So Friday night, yep, passed that, okay, cool. And then freaking Monday night, I mean, there might have been a little tweak here and there, but it was still relatively identical when it was all said and done to that press release they initially put out. So, I mean, what, we're going to talk about the draft? I mean, aside from the draft, I got to be honest, as long as I have been watching the WWE product and I can just remember, and you all should be able to remember as well if you've been watching for many years, there used to be a time where the draft was really, really fun. You know, for me, if you were to ask me what was the best time period in WWE when it came to the whole draft, I loved when they were doing the whole lottery ball system, and you had the freaking names that were just in that little lottery bin, and it was just being spun around and around. You spin me round and round, baby, round and round. You know, like, I liked when they were doing it like that. And you just, oh, okay, what names are we going to get out of here? Seeing the Fox execs and then seeing the USA execs, I mean, for me, that was just way too overkill. Every single time something was going down with a draft pick, we got a home in on the freaking board office, and we got the freaking Fox robot mascot. I forget what the hell his name is, but we got him running around and he's just high-fiving people left and right, grabbing people by the shoulders and all that other, like, I could have done without all of that. At the same time, I can definitely give a little bit of compliment to USA and WWE. I don't know whose idea it was to, well, hey, let's try to really beef this up and let's add the executives to the whole mix. But I liked how they had added in all of the folks from Fox and USA in personalities to try to help get the WWE product 10 times more over. I thought that was nice. It kind of actually made me wish that this was something we saw implemented some years back, right? It's like, why didn't USA try to strong arm like this years prior? Who knows? But I don't know. That's a question that maybe can be asked in the next conference meeting. I don't know. But those little elements I did like. But aside from all of that, for me, the draft just overall for this year was a bust. It really wasn't anything exciting whatsoever. No controversy. Now, look, you got Booker T, who's saying that he's going to be revealing some blockbuster news. Apparently, as there's going to be a major trade that's going to be going down that's going to be shaking up the foundation of the WWE. And basically, he said, check it out. It's going to be going down in the next 10 hours or 12 hours. Basically, by the time the WWE Backstage show comes on FS1 tomorrow, basically the trade should have already gone down. Booker T and Renee Young will be able to react to it and everything. So, okay, that's kind of nice that we have a little something to look forward to and everything with regards to that. But when it really counts the most, you had 2 nights, and if you are really breaking it down, you had 5 hours of WWE programming to really make this draft be talked about. And that's the other thing. Previous drafts, I can remember, whether I was, maybe in college or I'm getting together with some friends over at a house and we're watching Raw or whatever. Yeah, I remember a time where there was such great excitement, and then you couldn't help but talk about it the next day with other wrestling friends and everything. And this year, it just did not feel like one of those type of moments. Now, putting that to the side, as far as who all is going where and everything, I mean, there's a couple of bright spots. Let's talk about some of those draft picks real quick. And look, we really don't need to do a full recap. Not that we ever do, but even with regards to the bullet points tonight, I mean, there's really, as far as bullet points go, for sure, I want to talk about the Seth Rollins and the Bray Wyatt spot. I have a little bit of a bone to pick with regards to that, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. I also want to talk a little bit about the Natalya and Lacey Evans. That one was a little bit weird for me. For those of you that did not watch Raw, I'll explain why in a little bit. But kick on back, relax. Let's get into this bad boy. Okay, so taking notes for tonight. We had the continuation of the draft. Here's what Raw had picked up, all right? Raw, Seth Rollins. That was their number 1 pick. Charlotte Flair. Yes, Charlotte Flair is now on Raw. Now, some of you all may be wondering, well, what does that mean for Andrade? Since Charlotte and Andrade are an item, what's going on with that? Last time something like that had went down, we saw that they were separated, and a whole lot of shaking was going on. A whole lot of pissed off feelings was happening in the back there, and we saw that had got corrected with the quickness. Well, Andrade going right along where Charlotte is. So Andrade is now on Raw, right along with Zelina Vega. Now, some of you guys may say, well, Lee, if Zelina Vega is on Monday Night Raw, then what does that mean for Aleister Black? Because that's a couple too, isn't it? Yes, it is. And your answer? Black stays. He's staying on Monday Night Raw. So I got to give WWE credit this go round. They really made sure that, okay, who's couples? Who's really serious? Okay, it's a done deal. Probably going to get married maybe. This is a real serious relationship. Okay, we will make sure we don't break them up. So I give them a lot of credit this go round, because the last time it was a little bit, what were they thinking? They kept the couples together. All right. Kabuki Warriors. Yes. Asuka and the Pirate. Yeah, they are on Raw. Not too shabby. Rusev is on Raw. Cedric Alexander. Humberto. God, I butchered the hell out of his last name. I had it spelled correctly, and somehow I ended up misspelling it. Humberto Carrillo, I believe that's his name. From 205, basically, if I remember it right. He's now going to be part of Raw. Eric Rowan. Buddy Murphy, Jinder Mahal, who is currently out on injury right now, but he will be back very shortly. R-Truth. For those of you curious what's going on with Carmella, no Carmella tagging along with R-Truth over to Raw. Samoa Joe, drafted to the Red Brand. As you all know, he's currently out with an injury, but he will be back very shortly. Akira Tozawa and Shelton Benjamin. That makes up the second night of the draft picks heading to Raw. Now for SmackDown, Brock Lesnar. Oh, By the way, there was a couple of names. Hang on. Before anybody says, Lee, you missed a couple of names. I wrote those names down. Let me go back to Monday Night Raw one more time, because there was a couple of more names they had picked up here. Hang on a second here, guys. Also for Raw, Rey Mysterio, Titus O'Neil, and Liv Morgan. So that officially rounds off your list for Raw. Now, going over to the SmackDown side of things, Brock Lesnar, all three members of New Day. So much for it being a situation where you split them up. My idea, you could split them up, let them pursue single runs, but they are still the New Day. They can still form as a cohesive unit and when need be come together and everything, but you can still throw in a couple of layers of dissension if you want to amongst the New Day. Because, I mean, honestly, where do you go next with the New Day? Now that Kofi's dream, his Cinderella dream, has come to a screeching halt, at least for now, you got to somehow address what went down with Kofi. So, particularly, what's the next chapter for Kofi, but what's the next chapter for all three members of New Day, right? So, very curious to see what's going to happen with that. But all three members of New Day are on SmackDown. Daniel Bryan remains on SmackDown. Bayley, not going anywhere. New SmackDown Women's Champion, she's not going anywhere. Mustafa Ali, staying pretty much right where he is. Nakamura, of course, Sami Zayn. Ziggler, Rude. Yes, Ziggler and Rude now going over to the blue brand. We already told you about Carmella. The Miz, King Corbin, and rounding off SmackDown, Shorty Gable and Elias. That is your entire SmackDown list here, at least for tonight as far as who's draft. Now, going over this list, some of you guys may say to me, well, Lee, all the names that you had mentioned, who's kind of jumping out to you the most as far as who you see being able to break out going into 2020 and everything? Because we could pretty much say this year's over and done with. I mean, come on. Seriously, only a couple of months left. So we might as well fast forward to 2020. Just looking at things from the SmackDown side of things, or SmackDown point of view. I'm expecting big things for Baron Corbin. I'm expecting big things for Mustafa Ali. Looking at the rest of this. I got to go back to the first night of the draft. Let me go back to the first night of the draft here. Oh, for sure, Roman Reigns. For sure, Roman Reigns. Definitely Bray Wyatt. For sure, Braun Strowman. I mean, those names that I just mentioned, those are really the names you want to be homing in on going into 2020, for sure. Now, if you were to ask me, is there a specific order I'm looking at from the SmackDown side of things? I would like to believe Braun Strowman, and then you go Bray Wyatt, and then right up under that, maybe you can go with the cat like Mustafa Ali. Yeah, I'm really, really pretty high on Mustafa Ali. I really am. I would not be shocked if sometime by SummerSlam of next year, if maybe he was the SmackDown champion over there. I really would not be surprised. So, I mean, stranger things have happened, cooler things have happened. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of went in that direction. We'll have to wait and see. Looking at the Raw side of things. Aleister Black for sure jumps out at me. For sure, Aleister Black. Let's see if there's anybody else I'm eyeballing here. Street Profits. And did they get a nice reception tonight? Remember how off and on the past couple of weeks I was talking about how they kind of had this whole Deadpool thing going on. You gotta check out the previous episode or two and you'll understand what I'm talking about, why I kind of made that reference. But we finally saw them really get the proper acknowledgement tonight, and it came from AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson, kind of sarcastically welcoming them to the roster and everything, but then at the same time acknowledging the fact that they really didn't do anything to deserve being drafted to Raw, but gave them kudos for carving in their little niche and finding their way onto the main roster, and then proceeded to give them a beatdown and everything. Okay, so we got a little program already right there. Montez Ford wanted to get a little bit of payback, but his boy Hawkins was like, nah, man. No. Dawkins, I'm sorry, Dawkins. He was like, no. That's going to be another 2-on-3. Nah, that's a handicap right there. And nah, that ain't going to go good for us. We need to find ourselves a partner. And he was like, well, who did you have in mind? And kind of a cliffhanger going into the next week. So that's kind of cool how they had set that up when it was all said and done. Curious to see how that's going to pan about. I mean, is it possible that maybe we might see Booker T? Because Booker T has been very vocal saying he would love to do nothing more than manage those guys. And Booker, on rare occasions, can still go, right? So is it a possibility maybe for just one night we could see a guy like Booker T, or a couple of more names that was announced as far as the SmackDown side of things. In case I had missed it there, for SmackDown also, I think I said Shorty Gable and Elias, did I not? Pretty sure I did say those names. But looking at what's going on there with that arc for the Street Profits, if you don't go in the Booker T direction, you could always go with the Titus O'Neil. You could definitely go with him because he was one of the guys that was drafted over to Raw after all. So I think he would fit in quite nicely with some guys like that, right? Or is it maybe a Hall of Fame one-shot deal where, kind of following up on Booker, if maybe you don't go with Booker, do you maybe call up a guy like Mark Henry? Or maybe you call up a guy like Big Show? Especially after you get done watching that 24, what was it? Was it a 24/7 or was it a WWE Chronicle that they did on Big Show? It was like 24 minutes long. One of those series it was where they were covering Big Show. He's healthy. He's pretty much ready to go. He's doing movie projects. Matter of fact, he's involved in some new project with Netflix. He got the help of Mark Henry and some other cats. Looks like it's going to be some type of a comedy show or whatnot. So do you maybe bring in a guy like Big Show as a one-off taking on the OC, like, or is it going to be a case where whoever this third wheel is going to be for Street Profits, this is something that's going to be ongoing for a couple of weeks, maybe going into a pay-per-view, right? So you could kind of go in that direction, or someone that has very familiar history with the club. Do you maybe go with a guy like Ricochet? You know, that's another one right there. If you really want to string everything together and you want to let it be about continuity, that's another direction that you can go into. So there's a couple of interesting angles that you can go with for the Street Profits, but the fact that we're that very close to seeing them have in-ring action. I mean, look, I've already seen what they were able to do on NXT, and for those of you that have yet to watch NXT and see what they were doing over there, you guys are definitely in for a treat. High energy, very fast pace. I love the way that they get the crowd into their matches. What you see of their promos backstage and all that on Raw every single week, that energy is amplified even more when they're doing their thing in the ring. So it's very consistent. Looking at them, sometimes I kind of have like a damn. And I say that because there's a part of me sometimes that wishes, man, I wish Big Cass and Enzo Amore were still in the WWE, because it would be very interesting to see how those teams would be interacting with each other, whether it's facing each other or teaming up. I think it would just be a very, very interesting dynamic, especially combining the mouthpieces and Montez Ford and Enzo Amore, just the epic back and forths that those guys would be having, whether it's on their respective opponents or at each other. Man, that would just be some really great golden shit right there. But see, other than that, we had a weird spot that had closed out Monday Night Raw. If you would have told me in 2019, Lee, Natty, and Lacey Evans are going to close out Monday Night Raw against the Kabuki Warriors, I would say to you, whoa, what happened there? Like, did somebody get seriously sick? What happened with Becky? What happened? No, Charlotte. There was no Sasha Banks. What happened? It would be my question to you. And you could just, oh, no, everything's good. Like, no, nobody got injured or anything. There was no emergency, no death in the family or anything. It's just going to end with Kabuki Warriors taking on Lacey Evans and Natalya. And look, I love Natalya. I really, really do. I sincerely love her. But, look, that's not their fault. They can't help in which the order they're on the card. That's not them. They don't just, hey guys, what would be cool if we close out the show? Yeah! That's not on them, right? But if you would have told me that, like the beginning of this year, I would ask you all of those questions, and then I would follow it up with, okay, well, are they white hot or something? Like, are the fans buying their merch off the racks, like fresh off the press? Like, that doesn't kind of make sense to me. What's going on? And you're like, no, just, I would say to you, that's a hell of a way to lose a lot of viewership. And you're doing this after your season premiere. You're doing this on the week after your season premiere, and it's draft night part 2. Like, and I think one of the ways, if you were going to stay firm going in that direction from just a writing standpoint, I think what WWE really should have done as a saving grace, and they were on the right track, but they totally abandoned it throughout the course of the 3 hours, right? You get one spot where Seth Rollins is talking with Charlie, and he acknowledges the fact that Bray Wyatt obviously is not done with him because of what Bray did to him on SmackDown last week. And so he pretty much said, I don't know when he's going to pop up, where, but you know what? Rather than wonder, I'm going to go look for the man myself. And if it ends up being a case where I'm going to burn it down, then so be it. Right? Okay, so he's talking about, hey, if I find him and I find his little hidden lair, I'll burn that son of a bitch down. You're like, okay, we've got the carrot dangling over our head as far as why we should be sticking around for the rest of the show, because there's going to be some type of an epic encounter between Bray and Seth. Okay, I'm down with that. I'm totally invested in that, right? But that was it. Like, you maybe got one little spot where, there's going to be a Firefly, there's going to be a Firefly Funhouse segment. And you got the announcer saying this, and it's like, no. That's where you're messing up even more, right? Don't know. Riddle me this for a second. Help me make sense of this. There was a time not that long ago, right? Hate to sound like Pepperidge Farm. There was a time not that long ago, you had the WWE commentators, they were calling a match or talking over something, getting ready to promote something, and the next thing you know, their feed would be interrupted, and Bray Wyatt would come on in there, do his thing, go back to the commentators. Man, that was a weird transmission that we got right there from The Fiend, or from Bray Wyatt. And it's like, okay, so we go from that, which was just so spontaneous and everything, to, we got a Firefly Funhouse segment coming up next. Stick around. You're like, no. So see, what should have happened was the minute that Seth had said he was on the hunt looking for Bray Wyatt, then after that commercial break, you go to a new commercial break. And you should have had some type of a match going on. Time it right. Let the commentators be talking and they're not even aware of it. Let there be a feed break. And you can have Bray Wyatt come in. And you can have him say something like, hey, Seth, I hear you're looking for me. Hey, you're looking for the Fiend. Hey, man, it's like, hey, don't do that, man. Why you want to put yourself in more harm? Nah, man, don't do that. What are you thinking about? And you could have little rambling rabbit and everybody else try to message to Seth. Yeah, man, don't do that. Don't rock the boat or whatever. Dress it up however you want to dress it up. I'm just giving you guys the bullet points, basically. But you just do those crumbs throughout the night leading up to Seth finally finally figuring out where Bray's little penthouse is, and then doing what he had did to close out Monday Night Raw, right? And then once again, you got the inconsistency here, right? Okay, so Seth on Friday Night SmackDown just a few days ago, being buddy chum with his pal Roman Reigns, right? Calm, cool demeanor, everything. Whatever mean streak we saw of him at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view where he damn near killed Bray Wyatt, nobody thought it would make a little bit of sense to have a little bit of those tendencies come out in that match against Roman Reigns. You can still have Bray do the interference, but nobody thought it would make sense to, that way you have some type of continuity going on. That just kind of rattled me a little bit, right? To just see this Seth Rollins tonight just snapping and, you know, I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. You know, it's like, what the hell, right? So, breaking news, there is going to be at Crown Jewel, Seth Rollins will be defending the WWE Universal Championship against the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Now, does anybody at home want to take a guess on how that match is probably going to play out? I mean, Saudi Arabia and, you know, they're pretty holy and everything. And, you know, what's the odds that a demonic creature, a demonic entity is going to become the new Universal Champion? I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. Anybody want to take a guess what's probably going to happen at Saudi Arabia? I mean, seriously. So, I'm just not really feeling... I hope they have a good match. Sincerely, I do hope that they have a good match coming up at that pay-per-view event. And I'll definitely be checking that out for those of you that may be a little bit curious. Charlotte and Becky Lynch, they had a good matchup that opened up Monday Night Raw. I'll definitely give them a lot of props. That was a hell of an opener. I'm most curious to see what the next chapter is going to be for Charlotte, you know, now that she's over on the Raw side of things. I mean, it was kind of obvious where Charlotte is going, but are we really gonna keep pushing Charlotte? And can I tell you what I'm thinking and what I'm kind of feeling? And I hope it doesn't kind of go in this direction, but you almost swear that at this point, WWE's plans is to ultimately have Charlotte Flair tie her dad for championships. Maybe even surpass that. Like that's just the vibe that I'm getting. I could be totally wrong about that, but I mean, think about it. She's already a 10-time women's champion already. So how much you want to bet that before 2020 is up, she's at least going to be a 14-time champion? I mean, anybody want to bet some money on that? Or, I don't know, bet some Pringles or some shit, Doritos or whatever. You just kind of get that vibe, right? I would not be surprised if we were here, I would say November 2020, and she's a 14, 15-time champion. I'll put a firmer number out there, right? 14-time champion by November 2020, right? There's just a vibe that I'm kind of getting right now, and I know some fans tend to be a little bit alienated by that because, but look, for you Bayley fans out there, at least now you can kind of breathe and say, okay, well, ain't got to worry about Charlotte chasing after Bayley for the championship again, because now officially there's no way, right? Now that each roster is very distinct, it's separate, that's it. Ain't gonna be no crossovers and all of that. If anything, maybe you'll get a little something at your co-branded pay-per-views, right? But that's about as far as it's gonna go. So at least you can take comfort in, okay, we get to enjoy this new Bayley that's running about and see what she can do now with this new demeanor as a champion, who's gonna really be able to step up to the plate and everything. So I'm curious to see. I have a feeling I'm on the right track when it comes to Charlotte, because it's like, what else are you going to do? I mean, me, wishful thinking, if it was up to me, I wish it could be a situation where Charlotte goes after the women's tag titles, just for a little bit of a cool off period for a few months. I wish she would go for the tag titles. Now, some of you may say, okay, Lee, she goes for the tag titles. Who could you see, though, teaming up with Charlotte to try to strangle or take away, I think is the better word I want to use. I don't know why I was thinking strangle, but who would be a good tag partner to help her win the tag titles? You know, I was kind of thinking about that a little bit. Depending on, I would still like to see her on the SmackDown side of things, but if she ends up going over to Raw, I'd be totally down with that. I wouldn't mind seeing what a Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair team. I'm curious how that would look. That kind of jumps to my eye a little bit. Tamina's healthy again and everything, and I've had a soft spot for Tamina for good couple of years now. I'm curious how a Tamina and Charlotte Flair would gel well together. Looking at the rest of the Raw side of things, I mean, if you really want to pay it forward and you want to let it be about somebody a little bit younger, trying to reestablish them and everything, you could go with maybe a Liv Morgan, right? That's another direction you could go. Or, I think you do need to reintroduce her to the WWE universe. I'm not talking about Liv Morgan, but somebody that's been gone for a while that, we hardcore fans may remember her. But it seems like these days, with that WWE fan base, if you're gone longer than 3 months, it's kind of like, right? Ruby Riott. I think she would benefit well for maybe teaming up with a Charlotte Flair. I mean, you talk about very interesting dynamics right there, right? You got the rebellion, punk gothic-y, all that rolled up in one, and Ruby Riott, and then you got the queen, the princess and everything, right? And Charlotte, right? The royalty, interesting little dynamics that you got going on right there. But if it was up to me, just with what you've got going on with Charlotte Flair, I think now more than ever, okay, if you want to make her be a 14-time champion, there's not a problem with that. But space it out is my message. Space it out. If anything, let's focus on that women's division and those women tag titles, and let's see if we can elevate that even more. That would be my message to WWE. And with somebody like a Charlotte, just really think about that. Whoever those girls I just mentioned that Charlotte ends up partnering up with, it's going to be a really great program if it turns out it continues to be Asuka and the Pirate. That's going to be holding on to those tag titles, right? So a little something to think about there. Am I missing anything else that you all would like for me to talk about a little bit more with regards to tonight's Raw? Because I know we got new tag champions. We got new tag champions in, who is it? Who's our new tag champions now? I forget. I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm trying to think who the new tag champions are. It kind of feels like maybe it might be the Viking Raiders. Is that right, guys? Is the Viking Raiders your new Raw tag champions? I'm drawing a blank right now. I'll have to rely on you guys in the chat. Maybe Austin or anybody that's watching the stream can let me and the listeners know. I could have sworn we had crowned some new tag champions tonight. But other than that, there's really nothing else that jump out to me tonight. And I wish it was a case where I'm being a dick. I'm being too critical, but I'm really not. I would say to anybody that did not watch Raw tonight and is like, well, I got it on the DVR, you're going to be doing a lot of fast forward. And I can tell you that right now, because there's just a lot of dead air when it's all said and done. Or maybe if you didn't record and you're like, man, did I miss out on anything? You really didn't miss out on anything. And I got Gino, it was the Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders are your new tag team champions. Okay, so look, congrats to them. Wasn't it just a couple of months ago when we were talking about the Viking Raiders? What was it? The Viking Experience. We were like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? And I know there were a lot of people that were kind of making fun of some of us for tripping over the name. We were only tripping over the name because at our core, there were a lot of us hardcore fans that remember what these guys were doing as the War Raiders. And then we definitely remembered what they were doing before they came into the WWE. And for us, you know, we didn't look at it the way some people were looking at it, which was, hey, maybe this is just a marketing ploy just to get people talking. I don't think WWE is that smart. I honestly do not believe that WWE changed their names to the Viking Experience just to frickin' do it as a marketing ploy to get people talking throughout social media. And I don't think it was sincerely like that. And maybe at a later date, when the Raiders are done with the WWE and they decide they want to take their talents elsewhere, interviews, shoot DVDs or whatever, maybe they can shed a little bit of light on, because I'm sure that's going to be a common question. What's the story with the Viking Experience? Like, how did that name come about? Did you guys have any say in it? Was it a marketing stunt, or that was like legit you all's names until social media had something to say about it, right? I'm curious what the background story would be on that. But there were many of us that knew what these guys were capable of, you know, from doing their thing in ROH, a couple other places, and seeing what they were doing in NXT. We had high hopes for them, no different than the high hopes we had for the Ascension, right? No different than the high hopes we had for AOP, their first run on the main roster. No different than, you know, how we felt about who's another team. There's another team I was just kind of ready to, Enzo and Kaz, right? It's no different than how we felt about them, just honestly wanting nothing but the very best for them. And having a name like the Viking Experience, it was just, okay. But we saw them very cold, very ice cold early on the roster, right? Name gets changed, then they start getting a little bit of a rub off, you know, working with other stars, top tier stars and everything. And look at how everything has kind of come a bit full circle for them and everything. I still feel that they have a long ways to go as far as connecting with the WWE fan base, because I still feel that the overall fans, I feel that the verdict for them is still out, right? With the little bit that they've seen of them so far on the main roster, okay, well, good for them. I think it's a sincere, well, good for them, right? But I still feel that it's a touch and go with many fans, right? So you have this position of, okay, now they're the tag champs. Okay, well, let's see what you guys are going to be able to do now that you all are the champs, right? You know, honestly, for me, I think it really should have been a case where I wish under different circumstances, the people that they would have eventually taken the titles off of would have been a team like maybe the Usos or even New Day. I wish it could have been a position like that presented itself to WWE, where they could put the Vikings in, right? Because what happened tonight, it's not really that good of a rub off, right? I would even settle for Raiders taking the titles off of the OC. I would even take something like that, right? But sadly, that's not what was presented ultimately, in the trigger being pulled, making them the tag champions, right? But yeah, like if you are one of those WWE fans that are looking at these guys and you're like, for me, the verdict is still out, Lee. There's nothing wrong with feeling that way, right? I mean, because they haven't been on the roster that long, not that long. So let's see what they're going to be able to do as the tag champions for this next little bit. Let's see how WWE and crew continues to book them. And, you know, we'll talk about the good, the bad, and the indifferent when it's all said and done. Hey, we got some sponsor shout outs that we need to recognize here. I got a few I want to get into, and then we'll get into a few more throughout the show. Some of the names I want to get into here. Let me load this up here. Can't believe I almost forgot about these guys. Hey, you CBD lovers out there. Listen up, you CBD lovers. If you want the very best and affordable CBD products such as gummies, bath bombs, drinks, creams, pet products, products for anxiety, stress, relief, head on over to nctorganics.com. That's nctorganics.com. Act now on that website. Use the code NCT. Get yourself 10% off any item. You heard me right. Use the code NCT and get 10% off any item. Head on over there right now, nctorganics.com. That's nctorganics.com. One more time, nctorganics.com. They are one of our sponsors for tonight's edition of the RCWR Show. Many thanks. Also, if you are stuck in that dreadful 9-to-5 job and you want to do that which you love but simply don't have the time, if you wish to become more financially stable for yourself or maybe your family, or how about leaving a long-lasting legacy, or if you just have any goal, if the answer to any of those is yes, you definitely need to check out a free PDF guide on 2 key mindsets to unlock your utmost potential. Learn more, you can head on over there to bity.ly/2 key mindsets. Once again, it's like bit.ly, right? It's almost kind of like you're spelling it that way, but it's bity.ly/2 key mindsets. One more time, that's bity.ly/2 key mindsets. Check that out. Also, shout out to the guys over at the Sutera.com website. These guys had hit me up over the weekend and they were like, Lee, hey, we came across your content. You fucking rock, man. You're awesome. Could you do us a solid? Could you check out our website, since you like comedy and you like politics and you like celebrity news and all that, but you're pretty big into the humor, right? Like, yeah, I am. Well, check out our website, and if you like it, if you maybe do us a solid, spread the word. I love the site. So once again, if you guys love that talk of political and celebrity gossip news, but you kind of like it with that Mad TV type of approach to it, or the Mad Comics or whatever, you like that type of approach to it, check out the satire.com. It's a great website that is organized very, very well, I have to say. You go to the website and the load up time, I mean, boom, and everything is just basically one page, easy to read. The articles pretty much be in and out. It's a small group of guys. I think it's somewhere between 3 to 5 of those guys, and all they are about is just kicking back, having fun, writing up some fun articles and all that. You name it, there's like no limits. It doesn't matter if it's a politician, if it's a celebrity, if it's an athlete. If they can find something witty and funny out of the story that they're putting out there, they're gonna go there. So check that out. The satire, or correction, the Sutera.com. You spelled that TheSatira. I know, but they told me how to say this properly, and that's the way I am saying it for them. I verified this. The Sutera.com. One more time, the Sutera.com. Also, shout out to JMMA. Yes, JMAA, which is a premium content website that, let me tell you about this. This was interesting. Okay, so first off, if you're under the age of 18, make sure for this particular website you get your parents' permission, because there's a couple of things that's banner-wise and all that that's pretty explicit. That's all I got to say about that. But JMAA TV Premium, it's a top-tier premium comedy video service that features the best and most dangerous sketch comedy skits and all that. It features Titty Ditty Sugar, Juan V, and Patreon Slim. You can check that out. Head on over to jmaa.tv/premium. One more time, that's jmaa.tv/premium. We'll get into some more shout outs in just a little bit, but let's continue on with the show in the meantime. So we've got the Bound for Glory pay-per-view event that's going to be happening this weekend. Yes, October 20th. It's right around the corner. It is creeping up. And the card so far, it looks pretty good. I'm not really sure just yet if I'm going to be ordering Bound for Glory. I know I'm going to be on location this weekend because I'm going to be doing some traveling. And I will be doing a WoW recap during that time. I'm just not really sure if I'm going to be doing Bound for Glory on Sunday. 70% right now says I am going to be covering Bound for Glory, but we'll wait and see what happens. But listen to this card that's going to be coming up for this Sunday's pay-per-view. This card, by the way, the event, it's happening out in Illinois, Villa Park, Illinois, at the Odeum Expo Center. You got the North, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander defending the Impact World Tag Championships in a three-way match. They're going to be defending it against Rich Swann and Willie Mack, Rhino, and Rob Van Dam. Should be a damn good match. You also got a Call Your Shot gauntlet match. It's a gauntlet match where the winner could choose any championship of their choice. That should be a good one. We don't know all the participants in that one just yet. Let me take a quick swig here. Also, and I'm rooting my girl on this Sunday, Tessa Blanchard. Go Tessa! We got a X Division Championship match. This is a intergender ladder match for the Impact X Division Championship. Listen to this. Jay Chris is defending it against Tessa Blanchard, Dega, Ace Austin, and there's another opponent that is to be determined. Not rather to be determined, but to be announced. So they already know who it's going to be, but it's a surprise, basically. I'm rooting Tessa on. For those of you maybe wanting me to go with some picks for this card, just kind of going back for that Impact World Championship, I gotta go with Rich Swann and Willie Mack. A little bit I've been seeing from Impact. I've really been liking their flow. They got really good chemistry together. They complement each other very well. That Call Your Shot gauntlet match, I don't know who all the participants are, so I mean it's a little bit too close for me to call, and I'm a little bit out of the dark, or in the dark when it comes to that. So Jay Chris defending against Tessa Blanchard, Dega, Ace Austin. Jay Chris and Tessa really jump out to me the most right now, man, and that would be a nice nod to just go ahead and give that joint to Tessa, because I know there was a lot of us that was really hoping she was going to come out on top as the number one contender for that Impact Championship, but it didn't happen like that. I think this would be a nice little nod, right? Because, I mean, she's really, really been tearing it up. Any promotion, no matter if she's fighting women or she's fighting men, that homegirl been really tearing it up on all fronts. And then what she's doing over on WOW, and I keep saying this, and I hate to sound like a broken record, man, but if you girls and guys are not checking out WOW, Women of Wrestling on the weekends, right, and you're a big fan of Tessa Blanchard, you really owe it to yourselves to watch that product on the weekends, because man, what you see, what she's doing in Impact, she's pretty much bringing that on over to WOW, and she's been doing a really good job. I mean, it's like she's elevating everything around her when it comes to that roster. So y'all owe it to yourselves to check that out, man, see what's going on. But yeah, I'm rooting her on for this Sunday. Also, moving along the card here, Taya Valkyrie defends the Impact Knockouts Championship against Tennille Dashwood, aka Walk Like an Egyptian. Emma. That's how I remember her previous gimmick. I always say that to myself. You know what? And mad shout out to Taya Valkyrie. Taya Valkyrie just clinched the record for the longest reigning Knockouts champion. I think in company history. I'll have to rely on you guys, but I know Impact Wrestling had put out a press release. I don't know if it was earlier today or if it was maybe during the weekend, but I want to say it was actually today. But they put out a press release acknowledging that. So you're like, wow, she's held it that long? So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, take that as a two-part. Take that as upper management. Hey, she's been going in there. She's been tearing it up. She's been doing, hey, good team player, blah, 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 right? So, I mean, that's great. And, I mean, not for nothing, I mean, she's been tearing it up. Yeah, she really has. I've been liking her matches. I've been liking a good chunk of her matches. So, you got her taking on a girl like Tennille Dashwood. I wish in other circumstances it could be a case where, that's actually Jordan Grace, right? By the way, did you guys check out the Jordan Grace 2020 calendar joint? She got some images of some nice little spreads when it comes to that calendar, man. I think she's all out too, because last night she was talking about how she had about 9 of those bad boys left. And I was thinking about getting it, but I was like, I'm actually good. I'm all right. But I think she might be sold out, because the question that was asked of her, is she going to make any more copies? And she said it's actually pretty expensive to make those. So check it out when you get a chance. Go, if you follow on Twitter and everything, check out the spreads, man. Them joints, magnifico, man. Magnifico. Also, what other matches we got left here for Bound for Glory here? Did I say who I wanted for the Knockouts Championship, by the way? It kind of feels like Tennille Dashwood. It really, really does. I wish Valkyrie would keep it longer, but I just kind of get that vibe, Tennille Dashwood. Rascals. All 3 members, too. They're taking on Dr. Wagner Jr., Aerostar, and Taurus. It's going to be a 6-man tag team match. Rascals are finally starting to grow on me. There used to be a time I just thought their gimmick was silly, but I'm getting behind it now. You got Michael Elgin taking on Naomichi oh my God, how do you pronounce it? You know what? If I can't pronounce it, I'm not going to even try it, but Naomichi singles match. Michael Elgin. Ken Shamrock takes on Moose. Any other time, I would be on the side of Moose. I sincerely would be on the side of Moose. This feels like Shamrock all the way. Shamrock all the way. I'm hoping for Moose, but it feels like Shamrock all the way. I'm going to go with Shamrock. Brian Cage, main event match. Brian Cage, the Cyborg, defends the Impact World Championship against Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan has been so fucking white hot. It's not even funny. It is not even funny. That's a tough one, man. That is a serious tough one. Callihan. How can I pick against the man? I mean, seriously, dudes. How can I pick against, right? Because, I mean, when you really stop and think about it, and I'll pose this question to you guys that's been watching the Impact product for a while. How long has Brian Cage been holding on to that title now? Because for me, it feels like Brian Cage has had that championship, my God. Because I remember when Killer Cross was involved, and Morrison, and man, and Michael Elgin. I mean, it feels like at least almost 7 months have gone by since he won that championship. If it's been longer, let me and everybody else know. But Sami Callihan, let's see what's up. Let's see what he can do. I think he's earned it. Let's see what the man can do, because he stay having people talking on social media and everything. So let's see what that man is able to do. But that's how I'm looking at things for your Bound for Glory. Like I said, 70% certain I'm going to be checking it out. We'll wait and see what happens with that. We do got some other wrestling news and some non-wrestling news we can get into here. I thought this was interesting. Cain Velasquez, he did confirm his UFC retirement. He had put out a press release via social media. Here's what he had to say in that press release: to the UFC, my family, friends, and all the fans, thank you for the past 11 years. Thank you to all my coaches, teammates, and agents. I'm so blessed to have been able to have a career doing something I absolutely love. I knew from the time I was a junior in college, I wanted to be a fighter, and after graduating from college, I set off on my journey of becoming a fighter with the goal of being UFC heavyweight champion. There are a few people in this world that can say that they have achieved what I have, and I am forever grateful for the opportunities and position I held being a part of the UFC. With my official retirement from the UFC, it's time for the next chapter. A year ago, when I went to my first WWE show, I fell back in love with a sport that I had watched and participated in since I was a child. From that moment, I have been doing a crash course on all things that relate to pro wrestling. I've been training at different gyms, going to shows, and watching more matches than I would like to admit, but I can honestly say I eat, sleep, and breathe wrestling now. The contract I signed, and I'm on my way. Is he saying this right? Yeah, he is saying that right. The contract is signed. That's what, okay. Don't have my glasses, folks. I'm getting old. Bear with me. The contract is signed, and I'm on my way to my next goal, which is Universal Champion. WWE Universe, thank you for welcoming me with open arms. Now, rewind it back when we were on the show here. What was it? So not this past Friday, but so 2 Fridays ago when we were covering the premiere of SmackDown. Remember when we were talking about Cain Velasquez and everything, right? And I remember we addressed how some people were taking a massive shit on Velasquez and, hey, what's this guy doing? And he's washed up. And that was like some of the things you probably saw yourself. Reddit forums, you name it, all throughout social media. Yeah, people that were taking massive shits on guys like Velasquez and also on Tyson Fury for getting involved in the world of pro wrestling. And my message 2 weeks ago that I'll be glad to reiterate here again is, and what he just said here confirmed what I had said 2 weeks ago on the show, which was no. I would like to honestly believe that these guys have been getting in their proper training, more so Velasquez. And let's not forget, Velasquez was doing a little something with regards to pro wrestling with the AAA promotion and everything. But I said, hey, he's probably been honing his craft even more, right? And that the last thing that's going to happen is he's going to go out there and it's stank up the joint. That was my whole message. So to hear that for the past year, this man has really been doing this research, but at the same time, eat, sleep, breathe. He's been doing all his training and everything. As far as I'm concerned, and I would honestly like to believe that a guy like Brock Lesnar at some point has probably quietly trained with him. I would not be surprised if after Lesnar and Velasquez have their match, or depending on who it is that's able to get the interview and have him open up, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point you hear, yeah, Brock Lesnar has actually been helping me out, believe it or not, right? Given our history and everything, you would think, but no, he's actually been helping me out, which I hope he doesn't admit that, because that's going to open up a bad can of worms. It's like, wait a minute, we're supposed to really be invested in this program that's going on, and usually Brock likes to kind of play things to the vest a little bit, at least kind of what we've been seeing off and on the past several years. But that's not the point. The point is, all right, so this guy's been putting in the time and the effort. And I said to you guys on the show last week, I said there's no way that Cain is going to go in there and I said if I had to pick between the two, if I had to pick between Cain and I had to pick with Tyson, between the two, I would expect Cain, and I went with a report card, did I not? I believe I said Cain will probably come out with maybe a B-, right? Borderline C+, right? Tyson Fury is probably going to come out of there maybe a C-, right? We'll see what happens at Crown Jewel. So, that's good for him. Look, I know a lot of people are not really familiar, but now you got people that are, let me see what this guy is about. And show you right, you hop on YouTube, you hop on Daily Motion, you type in UFC fight, Cain Velasquez, Brock Lesnar, you get to watch it all in its entirety. 24 whatever minutes, you get to watch it all in its entirety, right? So now fans are starting to get a little bit familiar, but they still got to follow up on what I had touched upon a couple of weeks ago, which is properly introduce these guys, right? Do the WWE Network specials and all that other stuff. Talk to the Dana Whites and, get in on it and everything, right? So, hey, until now, look, there's already stuff out there on Cain Velasquez, but if he's been doing what he's been doing for the past year, I mean, for all we know, this man leaps and bounds of tremendous improvement. So I'm going to be paying attention very closely to what's going to happen at Crown Jewel. I want to see exactly where he is with that additional year of, okay, I really want to be dedicated because, man, coming trying to do something with WWE and, just being involved with pro wrestling, I really want to, okay, all right, you've had a whole year, right? Maybe you were pussyfooting around in previous years, but you said a whole year. Now we gonna see what you about compared to what you was doing in AAA and a few other places. Hey, congrats to Master P. Make him say, na 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 na. Congrats to Master P. Master P has purchased a majority of House of Glory, the promotion. I don't know how many of you guys had heard about this. I mean, this made me turn my head. If you would have said to me, Master P, pro wrestling, you would have said that to me 10 years ago. I would have been like, is he coming out as a wrestler or something? Or is he coming out as somebody's bodyguard? What's going on? Like, nah, Master P, he's going to actually own a wrestling promotion. Like, what? That would be my legitimate reaction, right? It is so, you guys have no idea. Like, for you younger fans and you missed the whole East Coast, West Coast, rap war and everything. For you all that did not live through the whole Tupac Shakur, Biggie Small beef, yeah, you miss all that Death Row Records and all that, No Limit, and for all you guys that had missed that, you really missed out on a historical period, not just in American history, but you guys also missed out on what, when you just stop and think about it, a significant period in the musical era, especially as far as hip hop and rap goes, right? Because I'm telling you, when Master P came along, everything that Master P had touched, I mean, just like with Mystical back in the day, just like with Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Puff Daddy before he became P. Diddy. Did I miss anybody in there? I said Snoop Dogg, right? I'm pretty sure I did. I know I said Dr. Dre. He had all them guys that was running around. And then Master P comes in there and he's got his own freaking, record label and everything. And you're like, holy shit. I mean, everything Master P had touched back in the day, it was money. I mean, proteges after proteges after proteges. Everybody got Bing, Google, and all that. Just doing a search of Master P, and you'll see like all the proteges, like everybody that has spawned off of him and his respective record label and everything. It was a legit fun time to be a fan back in those days, back in those 90s. And let's really call it for what it was, because it was all in the 90s. It was a really good time to be a fan, because I mean, everybody was stepping their game up when it came to the music. Everybody was stepping their game up. Hip hop, rap, everybody was stepping their game up. Speaking of hip hop, there's a new series that premiered over the weekend on AMC for you hip hop rap lovers out there. There's a little documentary, runs about an hour. I believe it's called Hip Hop, the Songs That Changed America. And if anybody wants to correct me if I messed that up, let me know, because I only watched it once and I just kind of skimmed at the thumbnail briefly. The first episode that they covered was Kanye West's that Jesus song he did back in the day. I was like, okay, all right, this is cool. So it's a good series. It's not all about Kanye West. It was just the first episode was just covering that song. So for those of you that want to get a little bit of education, I mean, look, there are those of us that lived through those songs. We kind of know the meaning, but to kind of come back a couple of years later, watch it and, get a fresh bit of perspective. It's kind of cool for you newer cats that are just now coming on board to some of these songs, the catalogs from some of these artists. It'll be really fun and insightful for you guys to peep it out and everything. But yeah, man, Master P is now running things over there at House of Glory. So congrats to him. Yeah. Now, as you all know, House of Glory, that was founded in 2014 by Brian XL and Amazing Red. Brian XL reportedly will remain in charge of House of Glory Creative. So yeah, he put out a tweet on Instagram declaring war against Vince McMahon. He had said, "We getting into the wrestling. Vince McMahon, you in trouble. I'm about to take over wrestling. HOG, House of Glory Wrestling. I'm hiring all the top wrestlers. Come over here to us." So he even jumped out there and was like, "Hey, CM Punk, give me a holler," right? I don't think he's gonna be able to, but hey, man, stranger things have happened. Also, AEW dark matches are going to be featuring former ECW champion Taz on commentating. That is fantastic to hear. I'm actually looking forward to that. Also, we got next week's AEW TV show where Chris Jericho will be defending the AEW World Championship against Darby Allin in a Philadelphia street fight. Looking forward to that. The full card so far, aside from that match, you got a Tag Team Championship Tournament first round. You've got SCU's Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels taking on the Best Friends. Jon Moxley and Pac will face Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page. You got the Tag Team Championship Tournament. First round continues on. Lucha Brothers take on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. And for the AEW Women's World Championship, you got Rio defending it against Dr. Britt Baker, Medicine Woman. So, should be pretty cool. For your WWE 2K20 fans, the entire roster has been revealed. Finally, 2K Games, they have finally revealed the entire roster so far, and this is basically a compilation of news information that was put out there, screenshots, game clips, but 2K officially did the announcing on social media. So this is your list for those of you that's going to be checking out this game. And before you ask, I have pre-ordered. I will be checking out the game next week. I pre-ordered. I have two versions. Originally, I had pre-ordered the freaking the SmackDown 20th Anniversary Edition. I had pre-ordered that one, but I ended up saying, nah, you know what? I'm not really getting that much bang for my buck. That's just what I personally felt. So I actually downgraded to just the deluxe edition. It was funny because I was talking to a couple of people in Discord, social media, and I was also talking to the family, and they were like, well, what exactly do you get? What's the difference? What's the difference between $90 and almost $200? And I told them the difference, and they were like, okay, so you don't get all three pictures of Edge, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle. You don't get those. I was like, no, you just get one of those, and it's going to be random. Like, yeah, so you have no control. You're right. Okay, that's what you're paying extra for? Oh, and you get a piece of SmackDown skirt from the 20th anniversary show or whatever. That's it. Like, that's it. Like, yeah, that doesn't really sound like you do better going on eBay and you can find whatever cool Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, get all three, probably get them for a good deal and all that. Like, what the hell? So, like, everybody I talked to, they pretty much talked me into $200. You got nothing to show for. Like, and they were like, aren't you trying to get your arcade one-up machine? I'm like, yeah. Well, duh, dummy, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's true. So I'm getting the $80 deluxe joint. I know it comes with a couple of super cards. I'm pretty sure some of those super cards I already have. So for you guys that still religiously play super card, or you have a friend that religiously plays super card, I will be doing a giveaway next week. So be on the lookout for that. But here is the roster so far for 2K20. By the way, if you got 2K19, you can get a little bit of money off of it if you're looking to trade that in. It looks like GameStop will give you about $7-8 for 2K19. All right, so for 2K20, you got Zack Ryder, Tyler Breeze, Tyler Bate, Trish Stratus, Tony Nese, Titus O'Neil, Tamina, Stephanie McMahon, Sin Cara, Shayna Baszler, Shane Thorne, Shane McMahon, Scott Hall, Scott Dawson, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Roderick Strong, Robert Roode, Ricky Steamboat, Razor, Ramon, Pete Dunne, R-Truth, Oni Larkin, Noam Dar, Noe Jose, Mr. McMahon, Mojo Riley, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising. Doors, don't pay me no mind, folks. Mike Kanellis, we got Mike Kanellis news we got to get into after we get done with this, because that's actually a good segue. Maurice, Mia Yim, Matt Riddle, Sami Zayn, Trent Seven, Kalisto, Johnny Gargano, Tucker, Rusev, Otis, Asuka, Keith Lee, Rhea Ripley, Eric Young, Eric, Fandango, Jack Gallagher, Grand Metalik, Harper, Heath Slater, Ivar, Jake Roberts, Jeff Hardy, Jey Uso, Jim Neidhart, Jimmy Uso, Jinder Mahal, Carl Anderson, Cassius Ohno, Kylie O'Reilly, Kevin Nash, Lacey Evans, Lana, Lars Sullivan, Lindsay Dorado, Liv Morgan, Luke Gallows, Maria Kanellis, Mark Andrews, Mark Henry. Previously revealed, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Undertaker, Roman Reigns, Eric Rowan, Brock Lesnar, Adam Cole, The Rock, Sting, Goldberg, Io Shirai, Steve Austin, Buddy Murphy, Kairi Sane, Velveteen Dream, DREAM, Kevin Owens, KO, Drew McIntyre, Nia Jax. She's not like most girls, you know. Alexa Bliss, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Nikki Cross, Kane, Samoa Joe, Tommaso Ciampa. Wonder what entrance Tommaso Ciampa is going to have. Is he going to have the silent entrance, no music? Or is the new music, did it make it into the game? I'm most curious about that. If there's screenshots and all that, his entrance is already out there. I don't know nothing about that. You guys got to forgive me. I'm actually kind of old school like that. When it comes to some of these games, I'll look at a couple of screenshots and okay, I'll check it out. That's just the faithful gamer in me. But as far as actually, I want to be surprised, right? But this roster, I'm not surprised. I knew that a lot of these were going to be added in here. Rounding off the list, though, Tony Storm, Jerry Lawler, X-Pac, make some noise, Shinsuke Nakamura, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Of course, when you pre-order WWE 2K20, all of your copies, even just the regular edition, you get the Bray Wyatt Deluxe Edition game. It's got like a Walking Dead. It reminds me of Walking Dead meets Vagrant Story meets WWE. What was it? Immortals or Elementals, whatever that game was that had like a spooky element type of thing to it that's available on iOS and Android. It's got like all of those things combined. And a lot of people that have bashed the hell out of the graphics for 2K20 have all said the same thing when they've seen gameplay and screenshots of this zombie game that's separate and everything from the standard 2K20, which is that looks very playable. That looks pretty badass. So I can't wait to actually play that. I'm looking forward to that. China, who's only part of the Deluxe Edition. Hulk Hogan, who is part of the Deluxe Edition. And then let's not also forget, you got The Rock, $500 version. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he should be part of that Deluxe Edition as well. But that's your roster for 2K20 for this year. I hope I didn't spoil it for you guys. Hope you don't mind me going over the list and everything. See, what else can we get into here on the show here? Just going over some more notes here before we get ready to wrap it up. Oh yeah, segue. Mike Kanellis. Mike Kanellis had put out a very interesting statement on social media just a couple of hours before WWE RAW went off the air tonight. He talked candidly about how he's asked for his release from WWE. I want to read to you all what he had to say with regards to that. I found what he said to be most fascinating. Here's what he had said here, and it was a two-part message that he had put out here. And let me actually see if, bear with me a second here, guys. I see part one of the message he put out, but I sadly do not see part two. So I'm actually going to have to go on his Twitter timeline. That was actually one of the last things I had tweeted. So bear with me a second here, because it looks like initially he had put this out on Twitter, but he may have done Instagram as well. I got it right here. Today I asked for my release from WWE. I want to thank everyone in the company who has helped me out and who I have shared a locker room with. I love you all. I've been with the company for almost 3 years and I am incredibly grateful for the opportunity. However, it is time for me to move on. I am only 34 years old and I feel I have way too much left in the tank. Working 1 day a week is just not going to cut it for me. I came to WWE to work and that opportunity does not exist right now. I re-signed with the company back in June because I thought it was what was best for my family and maybe from a financial standpoint it was. Y'all with me so far? But I quickly realized that bringing my work frustrations and misery home with me is not good for my family, and I no longer want my daughter to constantly see me come home defeated, sad, and angry. It's not fair to her or my wife. Being a pro wrestler was and is my lifelong dream, and I am just not ready to give that up yet. I wasted 4 years of my life addicted to drugs and not caring, when I should have been having the best matches of my life. Now that I am clean, sober, and motivated, I want to have those 30-minute matches. I want to travel the world and wrestle in front of UK crowds, German crowds, Japanese crowds. I want to feel the love and excitement wrestling once gave me. I also want my daughter to be able to see me wrestle. I want her to see her daddy work for his money. I've never been okay with just collecting a paycheck, and I can't in good conscience tell my daughter she has to work her ass off to get ahead in life, then not do it myself. I don't know what the future holds, but for the first time in a long time, I'm hopeful and excited. Thank you to everyone who has supported me and had my back. I love you. So, heavy shit right there. Heavy shit right there. There's a couple of ways I want to just go about talking about this. And, look, we may not be able to relate to this story from a wrestling standpoint, right? We may not be able to connect to it that way. But we can definitely understand where this man is coming from, because there are many of us that have been in that type of a same situation with our respected jobs. And we feel like, okay, we're putting so much out there, but we're getting very little back. You could be that type of person that's checking out the show right now. In your heart, you go to work every day, you're there, you're on time. Whatever is asked of you to do, you go above and beyond your responsibilities. You are a true team player. You need to stay late for a half hour, 2 hours till the job gets done. That is you, right? And when it comes time for you to get your just due, you feel a little bit shunned away. You feel as though, okay, I got passed up. What the fuck, right? So I'm sure that his story right there, even for those that have no wrestling experience whatsoever, it could just, okay, you know what? I can relate to that, right? So I respect the fact that here he is saying, okay, man, look, I signed this contract financially, was thinking about my family, trying to have them be more stable. Okay, all right. It's kind of like, but then I had that change of heart when, so it's, wow. So that's where we're at right now. I mean, you can't hate on the guy. You can't shit on this in any type of way. I'm like this. 9 times out of 10, he probably was looking to be done with the company 3 months ago. But with the amount of money that they probably offered him, which was substantially a decent amount, to quote Godfather Marlon Brando, make him an offer he can't refuse. They made him an offer that he couldn't really refuse, right? Sign on the dotted line, but then really stop and think about it. Yeah, you know what? Not really feeling what's going on here, right? So, I'm very curious to know, okay, so when it came to that storyline there where, Maria is just going the whole S&M route with you, did you at least have fun with that? Or did you feel that was beneath you? Did you feel as though you really should have been doing something else, right? That wasn't really playing to your strengths for everything that you were able to do in other wrestling promotions? Did you feel that with an angle like that, yeah, you might have been getting TV time, but it really wasn't lighting that fire? that you have as far as trying to entertain the masses. And that's one thing that I'm most curious about. I'm curious what his answer would be with regards to that. And, look, man, we all can be telling a person what they need to do with their lives till we're all blue in the face. But when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, we don't live those lives that person is living, right? You got to walk a mile in a person's shoes before you're really able to understand their journey, right? So to really feel these words, where he's coming from this press release, just home in on that. 34 years old. I feel like I have too much left in the tank. Okay, so he feels as though he still has a lot to offer to the pro wrestling business. He feels that what he's been doing up to this point, and look, not for nothing, I remember when this guy was, what was the stable he was in ROH? Wasn't it the Kingdom? I remember when he was tearing it up over there with Maria Kanellis, and I was like, holy shit. And then when they went on over to Impact, I was hoping it was going to be a continuation of the Kingdom, but it didn't end up being that in any type of way, and we got a bit of a watered down Mike Kanellis. I didn't really like that version, but compared to what we ended up getting in WWE on the main roster, it was, I'll take what he was doing in Impact any day over what we got of him in the WWE. I just wasn't feeling that, right? So, okay, all right. Feel like you got a lot left in the tank? All right, cool. You want to set an example for your kid. You can't fault that. I hear the same thing over and over again, which is once you become a parent, the world as you know it, it's flipped upside down and then some. You just start looking at things entirely different from the eyes of your kid. And then what you're most concerned about after that is, what is my legacy going to be? Eventually I'm going to leave this earth and my kid is still going to be here. What's the legacy that I want them to follow up on, right? What do I want for people to say to my kid about me once I'm gone, right? My kid should be able to hold their head up high and know that their dad was a good hard worker, bust his ass, did everything he could for his family and then some, right? Was very successful, right? So, okay, nothing wrong with that. I think anybody can relate to that big time. And then not for nothing, but before he came over to the WWE, yeah, he was kind of traveling like that. He definitely was kind of traveling like that. I mean, come on, once a week? Honestly, it's a pretty good schedule. It's a pretty good schedule when you stop and think about it, because you're getting all that money once a week. Should we really, now see, let's play devil's advocate a little bit. Should we really be feeling, not that we should, and I'm not even insinuating it, but this is actually, I didn't even plan on going into this topic that long, but it's multi-layered here. Okay, so should we feel sorry for Mike Kanellis now that essentially he has remorse, right? He has contract remorse, right? Is that even an option, first of all, of feeling sorry for Mike Kanellis? And then if the answer is yes, then not being a dick, but legitimately, why should we feel sorry? Because to be devil's advocate, one could make the argument, so let's see if we got this straight. You're getting a boatload of money to go into a place of work just once a week, and you're getting X amount of money just once a week. You have to drive and or catch a plane, right? Get your hotel and all that other stuff, right? Okay, you don't do house shows, right? Let's just say for shits and giggles, as far as dark matches, live events, house shows, let's just say for the sake of the argument, he's not doing any of those things. Okay, you're not doing any of those days. Okay, so literally what you're doing is you're coming out once a week, and it's possible that you may be used for one of the flagship shows. But, if you're not used, you get your money either way. You get your money either way. So you can pretty much at that point, once you're officially dismissed, go on back home, enjoy the rest of the week with your family. You can go plan an outing and, go to Disney World or whatever the flying fuck you want to do, right? Want to go get that new 72-inch 4K TV? You can go do it. You want to go put that down deposit, get that down deposit down on that house you've been looking at on the market for a while now? It's yours, right? So, being devil's advocate a little bit, and I got to pose this question to you all here, right? Okay, so we understand where he's coming from, right? We do. But see, this is where the other side of reality kind of kicks in for us, which is, wait a minute. You're telling me that I could probably get a contract for 3 years, probably for about what? Give me a number. What? What's a good modest number? What's a good modest number for 3 years? A guy like Mike Kanellis, right? 3 years. Give me a number. What's a good number? A realistic number. I'm almost tempted to say 175,000. 3 years. You get that same amount every year during your 3 years there with the company. $175,000. Okay, so you got your mortgage or your rent, you got your utilities, right? You got all that shit, right? Just go to work once a week. Is that really bad? Seriously, is that really bad? I'm legitimately asking you guys, right? So if you want to answer that right now, you can answer that right now. Or if you're ending up watching this on demand, you can ask that, you can answer that question back. But is it really that bad? I mean, there are some of us that would kill to be in a position where, hey, I'm here. Need me to do anything? No, we just grab a donut and just, have a seat, watch the television there. I'm just going to watch the monitor. Yeah, just watch the monitor there and just, if we need you, we'll let you know. Oh, okay, cool. So, I mean, this is going to have, I think, people very divided when it's all said and done. Because you're going to have some people, let me tell you how it's going to go down. You're going to have a majority of people that are going to look at this, right? And they're going to say, okay, well, I feel where he's coming from. I mean, he's feeling miserable and, he feels like he's, to quote the Eagles song, wasting time, right? Okay, so he wants to go, all right, more power to you, man. But then you're going to have the other side that's going to be like, I'm supposed to feel sorry for you because you signed a 3-year contract, you got a decent amount of money, and you're going into work once a week, if at all, but like either way, you're still getting your fucking money. And I'm supposed to feel sorry for you? Like, you know how many people would kill for that? So that's the two ways that you can legitimately look at this, right? If that's how he legitimately is feeling, I'm sorry that he feels that way. But let me tell you something. Let my kid, knock on wood, when I finally do become a dad, let my kid come up to me and say, Mom, Dad, I got this great job. I only got to go in once a week. I'm there for a couple of hours and, either I'm really busting my ass or I'm not. My first question, well, it depends. If it's a daughter, I'm going, and how much are you getting paid? I'm getting paid. You're not laying on your back, are you? That would be my next question. You're not laying on your back, are you? Like, no. Are you doing anything illegal? No, Dad. Okay, so you're not doing anything illegal. You're not laying on your back. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, hey, more power to you. You got your W-2, you signed it and everything and direct deposit. Yeah, everything's straight on the up and up. Can you get me hired? That would be I think that would be anybody's question. Like, once a week and you're getting that? Yeah, sign me the fuck up, right? So, like, now, if you ask me personally, Lee, where are you? with Mike Kanellis. Where are you on that fence? Are you on the side that you don't feel sorry, or are you on the side that, if you were talking to me back in 2011 when I began doing this show, and I was still, yeah, I'm still a young man, but I was much younger then, and I still kind of had that. I was still in that shock jock, willing to say anything kind of raunchy or whatever, just for shock and awe. I think the old Lee Sanders would be just taking a massive shit on this guy and just really bashing the hell out of him. But as I've gotten older, I just take a step back and I try to do my best to look at things from all sides, right? Which makes me pretty fucking deadly when it comes to the poll, because I'm an independent. So I could go either way. We're the ones you got to watch out for. For me, this is an instance where I'm not really sure what to think, because on the one hand, his story of sobriety and trying to be drug free and all that, that's something I've been following for a couple of years now. And he is somebody, even though he's not like my top favorite wrestlers, I know enough about him to know, okay, this is what's been going on with him, this is what's been going on with his family and everything. And I legitimately, the vibe I get from him is he's trying to do nothing more than provide a better life for himself, his family, and feel valuable. I don't think this is like a case of Austin Aries, right? I want it all and I want it now. I don't think it's gimme, 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 gimme. I don't think it's one of those type of situations. I think it's just all about being at a place of employment where he really feels like he's part of the team, where he really has a hand in whatever is going on day to day and all of that. And, it's sad that it's gotten to that point where, now see, here's where I find things also interesting, which is, in order for him to write something like that on social media, this is a trend that we've seen lately where wrestlers have said, hey, I've asked for my release, and it's kind of like, okay, well, way to put it out there in the open and everything, right? I'm like this. I'm still old school like that. Like, if I got a problem with my employer, I'm not gonna put it out on social media. I'm gonna keep that shit internal, right? I'm gonna keep that shit internal, and I'm gonna make sure that I keep it in-house. Whatever grievances I have, I'm just old school like that, and I don't like this new trend that I'm starting to see. You see how many layers are in this here? I didn't know we were going to go, seriously, this is not rehearsed. This is just how the show rolls. But that's a trend that I've been seeing nowadays. We've got these people that, rather than keep things internalized, and try to hammer it out with management behind the scenes, we've now gotten to that point as a society where you got a portion, every single time something doesn't go right with them and their employer, they've got to put some shit out there on social media and all that, rather than man up and, look, I've said for the past blah, 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 blah. I've done my part. You guys ain't holding up your end of the bargain. What's the deal? When are we going to get stuff done? What's it going to take? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, all due respect, I've waited. Can you just let me out of my contract? Right? Now, the way that this can even be remotely justified is if he's done everything internally and it's just continued to fall on deaf ears, and he's pretty much, that was his last course of action, and it's okay, well, I know if I put it out there on social media, then it's going to come back to them, and then they'll ultimately have no choice but to. So if that's the game that he's playing because he's ran out of all other options, okay, all right, I'm with that, but I really don't. It reminds me, I was at work earlier today. This isn't a long drawn out story, but it does kind of, it mirrors up, man, matches up to what I was just talking about as far as, okay, you got problems with management and all that, go behind closed doors and hammer it out. So we had a guy that had started working for our firm. God, I don't even think he made it a month and a half. I'd be shocked if he even made it a month. I know for a fact he made it to a paycheck. I know that much for certain. But the guy was weird as fuck. And what I mean by weird as fuck, he was one of those type of guys you could like go up to him. Hey, just bullshit example. This did not actually happen, but just a bullshit example. Hey, you didn't clock out. What happened? All you want to know is why he didn't clock out. Well, you see, the problem was, it started when I was going around the corner, and I had to, remember that I had to go back down the stairs because I had left my fob, and he just gives you this long, drawn, boring, like, you're like, where are you going with this story, dude? Bring it back home. I just asked you why the fuck you didn't clock out. It's like, I don't need all this other shit, right? He was just a really weird. If you got around him, you would just get the douche chills. Like, he was a creepy fucking bastard. So last week, he and my boss got into it verbally. There was something that she had asked him. And there was something he was pussyfooting around on for like 30 minutes, basically. And she couldn't figure out why he was wasting 30 minutes on that one thing. And he was going through that, what I just told you guys. Oh, well, you see. And I mean, she carried his ass. She said straight up, and she's Greek, so she don't play that shit. Greeks and Italians, you don't want to fuck with them, especially the Greek and Italian women. I mean, you get on their bad side, they got that mean streak, no doubt about that. And she lit his ass up. She said, honey, you are obnoxious as hell sometimes with this stuff. You gotta stop this. You are how old? And this guy's probably he's probably in his late 40s, early 50s. You're how old? You know better than this. Okay, we're all adults here. Don't try to play me for stupid. That was her message to him. Don't play me for stupid. And he kept trying to do the whole, and finally she just told him, go sit down. I mean, she said it real loud, and it sounded like a parent talking to their kid. It was one of those type of deals. And I remember, since he was hired, he was very chatty. But man, after that, he was quiet. So, bring it home. So today, come in. And it turns out he sent a text message to my boss and said, I've accepted employment elsewhere. I'll mail you guys your key fob. Now, luckily, a coworker of ours, you talk about divine intervention or whatever, he was actually on his way to the job with us. And he goes, oh, hey, I ran into so-and-so. I'm like, what? Yeah, I ran into so-and-so. I'm on my way to work here, and I ran into him, and he was like, here, give it to blah, blah, blah. Like, what's this? I'm not going back there, right? And so, of course, my boss was pretty pissed about what had happened because he didn't even put in a week notice and everything. And I pulled it to the side. When you need to point something out to somebody, you got some constructive criticism, or that's what I'm talking about, right? Have a backbone. Like, I pulled her to the side and I said, let me tell you the real deal. Like, you know why he quit, right? And she's like, no, I don't know why. And I told her, I said, it was because of the way you spoke to him last Thursday. And I reminded her, and she's like, holy shit, you're right. And I said, yeah. I said, see, rather than he do the right thing, give you an opportunity to cool off about an hour or two, I asked to speak with you in the office behind closed doors and say, hey, about earlier, didn't really appreciate how you, and I told her, I said, knowing you, I was like, see, we've been around you. We've worked with you long enough. We know your personality. We know you don't mean harm. We know that sometimes you say what you say out of love because you all know, we're smart as fuck. And, a lot of times we can be tired but there's a time where you really got to be on your A game, right? but we've worked with you long enough. We know that when you're having a bad day, don't take it personal. And if we do start to feel it's personal, just talk to you in private. And she's like, yeah, you guys know that. It's like, you're right, we know that. But a guy like him, new to the scene, still trying to find his right footing with you, he ain't going to know that, and he's going to assume the worst. And when it's all said and done, he didn't have a backbone to say, hey, I didn't appreciate how you had spoke to me, right? So that's the type of thing I've been noticing on social media more and more. You know, on the one hand, it's kind of cool how when we all have the problems that we have, rather than keep it internalized, it's great that we have our phone, a tablet, or whatever, and we can jump out there and we can get whatever we need off of our chest, right? Because it's a great stress reliever and everything. But I personally feel that there's a time and a place where you can let the entire world in on whatever is going on with you. But then also at the same time, not everything needs to be publicized about what is going on in your personal life, especially when it comes to your money, you know? So, you know, it's just a trend that I tend to see more and more where, you know, not enough people are having the backbone to, whenever there's some type of an issue at work, really go to bat and exhaust everything possible before, okay, well, I've done my part, time to move on, rather than take to social media. And you feel where I'm coming from? So it's a weird little trend that I've been noticing more and more as of late. And I wish it was something that would stop, but it's not going to be stopping anytime soon. That's how this show works, folks. Whatever comes to my mind, there was so many multi-layers to that, it makes no sense. On a funny-ass note, of course, from last Friday's SmackDown, Bayley didn't really shock us. Although it was nice to hear her say, what was that? Hey, bitches, closing out SmackDown or whatever. Well, there was a poor little kid that did not like the fact that the Bayley buddies were basically murdered on last week's SmackDown. I'm sure by now you guys have seen the video. I felt bad for the little kid. I really, really did. The little kid is seeing Bayley, now a heel, destroying the Bayley buddies, and he's just busting up crying and everything. And of course you had Bayley and Sasha Banks. They loved what they had saw on social media, and you know, playing up to their hero personas and everything. And that's good. I mean, just the little subtle touches that they put out there was perfect. And I just hope that in this day and age where kayfabe is mostly dead, I just hope that with what they're trying to do with Bayley, I hope that WWE does not fucking cave. I don't care how viral this kid gets. I don't care how many letters that WWE headquarters may possibly get. Shame with that, what you had Bayley do with those little Bayley buddies, and think of the kids. And I don't care how much pressure comes onto WWE with what Bayley had did last week and the whole change in her character and everything. And don't cave to little kids like that and other stuff. This is your moment. This is what you've been trying to do with Bayley for a good minute now, right? This is what's been needed of her for a good while. And fans now have new interest in her again and everything. And the last thing you want to do is cave in such a way where, oh, hey, this is some dumb fuck from WWE in Stamford, Connecticut. Yeah, we saw the video that you posted there of your son crying over what had happened with Bayley and everything. And we just want to give you an opportunity to, you know, well, for us, really, we want to make right by you. You know, we were so taken back by your child's emotional experience that we would like to invite him and your entire family to the next WWE pay-per-view event. And no, fuck that shit, right? Or hey, we'd like to have you meet up with Bayley and a couple other WWE superstars and have lunch at what's one of the places that they like to promote now, food wise? I don't know, fucking Skittles or whatever, right? Whatever food they're into, Pizza Hut, whatever, right? And it's like, And it's like, what the fuck? Like, seriously, like, fuck that shit. I don't care about what happened with that kid. You know, I think it's great to have that kid have that type of a reaction. Good. Good. That means WWE is doing something right. And that is exactly the type of reaction that you want to get. Okay? What's the new gimmick? The new meme that's running around with Bayley has been running for a couple of months now, which is Bayley throwing up the 2 middle fingers, and it's in black and white, and the caption reads, "Fuck them kids." Okay, we all know that Bayley does not legitimately fuck them, you know. Yeah, fuck you, kid. She doesn't sincerely mean that, but she's got a gimmick she's got to play up to on TV and everything. Look, I'm like this. Unless you're a Make-A-Wish kid, sorry, but this train is going to keep on a-rolling. It ain't stopping no time soon. I love that. I mean, I love what I saw from SmackDown last week. But to know that there were some people that had this type of an emotion, right? And can I just, one other thing. And to the parents that had filmed their kid crying over that shit, fuck you. Massive fuck you. And let me explain why it's a massive fuck you. I'm sorry, but anybody else would probably be like, "Oh, honey, oh, it's okay. Come here, it's okay." And look, we all were kids at some point. Especially when it comes to the wrestling. Oh man, look at what's and it's real too. It's so real. We don't know the ins and outs and terminologies. We don't know any of that stuff, right? And so, okay, what do I do here? Do I give my kid the talk and let them know that what they're seeing and hearing is, you know, fucking, you know, it's fucking fake? Do we go in that direction, or, you know, do we kind of go in another direction where we say, hey, look, it's okay, you know, Bayley's gonna get what's coming to her, you know, Bayley's a bad guy now. Sometimes this happens, but you know, don't you worry. Those little floatable guys, they'll be back. You just wait and see. They'll be back, and somebody, you know, maybe Becky Lynch or maybe so-and-so will make sure that they talk to Bayley. Maybe they have to fight her to make her bring back those people, right? I don't know, but like, for me personally, the last thing I'm going to do is fucking whip out my phone or my tablet and go, hang on. Junior's crying. Oh, hang on, honey. Hang on, let me get the tablet here. Hey, oh, what's wrong, man? Oh, that's so sad. Oh, that's so sad. And then you're filming it, right? And then you go, this is gonna make me a shitload of clicks on fucking Facebook, Instagram. I'm gonna post this shit right now. That's the last thing you fucking do. I'm sorry. I just wouldn't do it. I just don't have the heart. Even if I think it's funny as fuck, I just couldn't do it to my kid. I just couldn't. If I had a kid, I couldn't do it to them. Maybe behind closed doors after I put them in the bed, you know, and me and the missus were in the other bedroom and we're just laughing our asses off. Yeah, maybe I could see myself, you know, letting loose then. But, you know, we're all in front of the TV watching and my kid is seeing that segment. Nah, man. Fuck that. I'm not going in that direction. Fuck that. So, but I love that. I ate that up. That was hilarious for me this past week. Other than that, one other thing I want to get into, and we're going to get into loads more non-wrestling related stuff on Wednesday show, because Wednesday show, if you got any wrestling or non-wrestling related questions you want to forward, you can post it now in the live chat, or if you're going to be watching on demand, you can post it, and we're going to have a portion of the Wednesday show that's going to be Q&A. The Wednesday shows, we're pretty much doing AEW, NXT, and then we're also going to show love to other promotions. I finally began watching MLW Fusion. I'm looking forward to talking about that this Wednesday. I'll also be talking about that first episode of NWA Power. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll talk a little bit more Impact, New Japan, a little bit of WoW. We're going to be going a little bit all over the place on that show. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, there is a poll that is up right now. It's over on the YouTube page on the communities tab. I need you all's help figuring out what are we going to do with the Friday shows. You got a couple of options. The poll stays open until Friday, October 18th at 10 p.m. Eastern. You can cast your vote. Let me know what you want to happen. And trust me, the polling results, I like the feedback that's been coming in so far. It's helping me. But if you're not aware of that poll, go check it out and everything. One thing I did want to touch upon as we get ready to wrap up this show, I want to offer, and we're going to go out on a good strong note, I want to give my sincere congrats to Zoe Kravitz, the daughter of Lenny Kravitz and the lovely Lisa Bonet. Zoe Kravitz, in case you all had missed it, she was announced as the new Catwoman that is going to be appearing in the upcoming new Batman movie. And I am ecstatic for her. I legitimately am. It's sad that we've got some people that are running around and they want to try to pull that race card and everything with regards to Catwoman. And I mean, look, for people that are going to jump out there and they're going to try to pull the race card, understand something here. When Bob Kane, creator of Batman, was still alive, you want to talk about race and all that other shit, go as far back as to educate yourself. Go as far back to the Adam West Batman live action TV series. And you had the lovely Julie Newmar. That was the original Catwoman, and she did a phenomenal job. I loved her chemistry with Adam West. I loved it tremendously. And sadly, after a couple of seasons, she could no longer do Catwoman because she had a couple of movie projects she was tied to. Enter Eartha Kitt. And Eartha Kitt went in there and she took it to a whole new other level. Now, sadly, there were those of us, well, not me, because I wasn't born during that time, my parents and grandparents, they wanted to see that continuation of the Catwoman Batman love interest. But the only thing was, in those times, this is a white man and this is a black woman. Are we really gonna go in that interracial direction? Like, are we really? Because that's pretty taboo for TV, right? So that was something that, they really did not want to touch. But just stop and think for a second. Bob Kane was still alive back then. So if anybody could have had a say as far as, I don't want no black person playing one of my characters that's white, then somebody like a Eartha Kitt would never have been given that opportunity to step into such a iconic role, right? And then you also had another woman that had portrayed Catwoman. She had portrayed Catwoman for the Batman Adam West movie. It was pretty much the only movie. That was actually one of my favorites too. If I remember right, I think there were two Batman movies. I could have sworn there were two Batman movies. But after Eartha Kitt, you had Lee Merriweather. Love Lee Merriweather. I have such a crush on Lee Merriweather. I loved her work, particularly on Barnaby Jones, with Buddy Eston from the Beverly Hillbillies. If you guys ever watch Cannon, it's like, I'm not making fun of him either. Cannon was like this big, fat, balding, mustache detective that's like running around. He was a former detective, but now he's like a private investigator and he helps out like different clients and everything. Well, there was a spinoff from that and it was called Barnaby Jones. And I'm giving you the bullet points. Barnaby Jones was a retired detective and he ends up trying to figure out what happened with his son, because his son, I think, was on the police force, if I remember it right, and he got killed, and it looks like it's a cover up. And so Lee Merriweather's character, which is essentially the stepdaughter of Barnaby Jones, reaches out to him, says, hey, look, I think this is what happened with your son and having a hard time proving it. So they team up, they figure out what happened. And then from there, Barnaby Jones decides, well, you know what? I think there's even more people that may need our help. They've tried to, go with the law and everything. And he's kind of gotten to that point where he's like, okay, there's corruption, and hey, it kind of seems like we got a good thing going on here. Let's keep it rocking and rolling, right? Barnaby Jones, I think it went for like about 5 seasons or whatever, but Lee Merriweather, she was fantastic on there. There was also a Monsters reboot TV series that was done. I want to say maybe it was in the late 70s or 80s. You guys will have to refresh my memory that know your TV shows. She looked just like Mommy Monster there, the original one, portrayed by DaCosta, I think it was. So you had Lee Merriweather. Then you had that cool-off period until Michelle Pfeiffer stepped into the role. We all agree you had the dreadful Halle Berry Catwoman. I mean, honestly, and I've told people this many times, and dude, you're savage as fuck. I'm just speaking the gospel. I even said this at AwesomeCon when they had the Batman Museum on display, and they had some of the cool costumes in display cases. Catwoman was one of them too. As a matter of fact, they had the Anne Hathaway Catwoman from Dark Knight Rises that was on display. And Halle Berry's was also on display, I think, as well. And I remember saying, yeah, I didn't care about the Halle Berry one. That movie sucked. But, hey, put it on mute. It ain't that bad because you get to watch Halle Berry. And I remember somebody said, that's just mean. I was like, but it's the truth, right? And another person was like, yeah, that movie was bad. So, and I didn't see back then when Halle Berry had got announced as Catwoman, I didn't see anybody complain. Motherfuckers loved them some Halle Berry back in the day. Huge love for Halle Berry back in the day, right? And we already mentioned Anne Hathaway. She did phenomenal in Dark Knight Rises. And now Zoe Kravitz gets to step up to the plate, and I'm rooting her on. I was a big fan of her mother's, Lisa Bonet. I was a big fan of her work growing up. She had problems. She had her demons back in the day, as you all know. If it wasn't for those demons, I think the world truly could have been hers as far as Hollywood goes. But it seems that the way the cards just ended up being laid out for her, I'm glad she's okay now, but man, I mean, she was so white hot back then. I mean, literally, she got her own show. Yeah, she had problems on the Cosby Show, but essentially she got her own show so that she could, Cosby and them, okay, let's try to put the focal point more on her and everything. And if you all remember the early seasons there of A Different World, it was about her, but once again, demons. Pretty much write her off of that damn show, never came back and everything. And so I've always been a fan of Lisa Bonet, and a little bit of work that I've seen of Zoe Kravitz, I like it, and I'm not going to pass judgment just yet. I mean, look, we were all here when the announcement was made that Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker back in the day, and we all shitted on it. We were like, what the fuck? And then it ended up being a goddamn masterpiece. When we all heard that Ben Affleck was going to be the new Batman, a lot of us were like, I saw people making videos. I probably was one of the few people that said, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. What happened? It comes out, everybody goes, pretty good Batman. Decent Bruce Wayne. That was like the main thing you kept hearing. I really did not see anybody take a shit on his version of Batman. I really didn't. Right? And if they did, they might have been just trolling, right? But he did okay in his own right. So I think it's still very early to pass judgment and to try to make things be all racial. It's like, educate yourself on a character that has been around since 1940. Combine that with everything that I just laid out, and it's like really? Really? We're gonna go in the race direction. Like, there's other things we could be talking about. Like, seriously. So I'm gonna end the show on that note. We got loads more wrestling and non-wrestling related stuff we're gonna be able to get into on Wednesday's show. So I'm looking forward to that. Remember, if you got some questions you want to forward to Wednesday's show, wrestling or non-wrestling related, you can post it in the comment section or get at me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR Show. Cast your vote on that poll as well, guys, on the communities tab. Let me know what you'd like to see happen with those Friday shows, okay? And yeah, we'll be live here Wednesday, October 16th, 10 p.m. Eastern, as soon as AEW Dynamite goes off the air. Join our Discord server. We got the link in the episode description. It's free. Get it on all your devices. Stay connected with me and other listeners of the RCWR Show. One more time, can we give it up to our sponsors? And I also want to give it up to our Patreon members as well. Definitely got to make sure we give them shout outs as well. Without all of these guys, shows like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. Once again, shout out to nctorganics.com, where if you're a CBD lover, check them out, man. You want the very best and affordable CBD products, gummies, drinks, creams, pet products, products for anxiety, stress relief, more. Go to nctorganics.com. Remember, use the code NCT, get 10% off any item. Also, check out the 2 key mindsets. Check out that free PDF guide. Really give you some essential tools that's needed to try to help take your life to that next level, get you one step closer to achieving your goals. I got the link for that in the episode description. The Satura, great site to check out for celebrity, political, athlete, comedic news. Anything is up for grabs on that site. Check that out. JM AATV Premium at jmma.tv/premium. Check the boys out over there. Titty Daddy Sugar, Juan V, Patreon Slim. Also, special shout out to some key sponsors of the RCWR Show. Shout out to the creators behind the movie President Evil. If you guys like Saturday Night Live, Stephen Colbert, The Daily Show, Real Time with Bill Maher, check out President Evil. This movie takes place during the midterm elections, and for some weird reason, there are these masked serial killers running around with butcher knives, dressed up as the President of the United States, that are trying to chase after 3 girls. It's comedy/drama. Check it out. Good shit. Shiaboo.com for all your natural cosmetic needs. Environment friendly, all that good stuff. Shiaboo.com. Leafyassets.com if you need legal services, especially if you are maybe a real estate broker, a real estate investor, entrepreneur. You're trying to make sure everything strategically is on point and laying down a better foundation for yourself, your business, and all that. Leafyassets.com. Good team over there. They can help you guys out. And also shout out to our Patreon members. Love our Patreon members. Shout out to Freddie R. Freddie. Shout out to Sean Kenter, Justin Rep Stock. Shout out to Tony Bing Gaming. Want the latest in Marvel Super Wars, that upcoming MOBA game, or Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 or Marvel Strike Force, news, reviews, walkthroughs. Tony Bing Gaming. He's got a great YouTube channel and a Patreon page. Check him out. Michael Wolf, John Davis, Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup, John Krauser, Joe Raymond Jr. You got $5 a month. Join all of those cats. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. You get to check out bonus audio and video content. Great majority of which you won't be able to find anywhere else. You also get access to bonus exclusive shows. Again, won't be able to find anywhere else. That is going to do it. Wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Shout out to Gino, True Fighter. Shout out to Austin. Shout out to everybody that's going to be checking this out on demand and on the downloads. If you are waiting patiently for this to be dropped on demand and on the downloads, it will not be released until Tuesday night, I would say after 7 p.m. Yeah, I have enough time to recharge my batteries a little bit, but it will be available, edited, all that good stuff for you guys to check out 7 p.m. Eastern for all your favorite respected devices. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Check y'all out this Wednesday after AEW Dynamite. Ta-ta for now.